Welcome back again, ladies and gentlemen, to Cast with Q. Sponsored by nobody. On tonight's program, we got a special guest by the name of Stevie Nel. Later on in the show, we'll have another special guest. Someone else. As always, we've got fan favorite segments such as Rag or Mag and Quote of the Day. So, without further ado, may I introduce to you Mr. Q.
And we're back. Hello, Steven.
Nice. Hello, I was just watching the live.
It's funny you can't see it on your side, and I can't hear it on my side. But hopefully the music and everything was doing all right.
It was, and it was delayed, obviously, because lives are delayed.
Yes.
It's still wrapping up on the actual live. Sorry, not to get too meta about it.
No, you're fine. Well, welcome, Steven, to Cast with Q, and welcome everybody out there who's watching after the fact, because I know who that one viewer is this time. So, we've got a few segments for you guys today. So let's go ahead with our first segment for today. And then Steven, at any moment you can just like interject or say whatever. You know what I mean? Can you hear me,
Yes.
Stevie? Okay.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, I was looking at something. So don't hesitate to do that. Our first segment though is going to be what I call Rag or Mag, and in this one every time we do this we're gonna go over a comic book, and for the first few ones we're gonna go over Comicsgate comic books. And for those of you who don't know, Comicsgate is essentially the people who got kicked out of DC and Marvel because of their political opinions, and so they have some of them have banded together to support one another, and it's kind of an indie thing. And so the first one we're going to go over today is called Cyberfrog Bloodhoney, which is by a guy by the name of Ethan Van Sciver. He drew Green Lantern, and to be brutally honest, he's probably one of the best comic book artists alive today. So anyway, let's first. I should put a picture up on the screen there. So let me.
I think I've seen your copy of this.
Yes, you have, and I'm excited.
Really crazy graphics.
Oh my gosh, the art is unbelievable. Let me add a little thing here so we can see something while I'm talking about this. But I'm really excited because Wrecked Planet, which is Cyberfrog 2, is going to come out in maybe like. Can you see that there? Oh, I really wish you couldn't. It's probably
No, I will be able to in a few seconds.
blocking the entire screen right now. Everybody gets to see how small I make it. But Wrecked Planet, which is the sequel to this, is coming out, and by coming out I mean he's shipping it, like as we speak. So let me put this behind us here. Okay, so yeah, this is the cover. Oh no. You're gone, Steven. Oh, Steven left. He got dropped. What a revolting development. Okay, well, I'm sure he's going to join back in there. But anyway, this is the cover for the foil version, the silver foil version of Cyberfrog Bloodhoney. This one I got, I got for pretty cheap, actually, like $20. He essentially was selling them on sale so that people would buy that first story and read it so that they would be excited about Wrecked Planet. But honestly, it was very affordable, and that's always a great thing, especially for, I think it's like 60 to 80 pages. 80 pages for $20 is, and Ethan Van Sciver art, 80 pages for $20 is nothing to scoff at. But so you can actually have it right here. If you guys can see, it's obviously very shiny, and it's embossed too. So it actually is raised from the page itself, even on the back too, for the all caps comics logo, which you can kind of see there. But yeah, the normal cover is actually colored. Oh, there he is. Hold on, let me get him. There we go. Hello, you're back.
Oh yeah, I've been back. I've been back.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
It like dropped you, and then I was waiting for you to come back. Have you been there the whole time?
I've just been listening to each other.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. But anyway, this is the silver foil. The regular one is colored, but I was happy that I got the silver foil one for pretty cheap.
It looks really sick.
Yeah, doesn't it?
Like the raised.
Yes. If you look at it from like, I don't know if you can see that, but it's really nice. And it's even like raised. He's got texture on his frog skin. You cannot see it in the camera, but that's also embossed, which is pretty amazing. Excuse me. So anyway, I'm going to bring up some of the pictures here because they really are quite beautiful. And then let's talk about the story first. That way then I can put that stuff away.
What is this? What's this one about?
So essentially, Ethan Van Sciver he worked for some indie comic book companies in the 90s, and he made Cyberfrog from the 90s, which... Come here, you. I have right here. And that's got all of his stories, the collected stories of his Cyberfrog from the 90s. And essentially, this one kind of is a soft reboot. So they explain his origin, and they also explain like what the new story is. And so I don't know how much I want to give away. Well, okay. So Cyberfrog is a alien essentially. His species, when they give birth, they like create a protoplasm of energy, and that protoplasm can pick up the genetic structure of two different beings, and it's usually the parents. But this species wanted to send him out to essentially protect Earth from the Vizpiz, which is the bad guys they introduce in this comic book. But his ship it's not really his ship. It's like a sentient robot ship, birthing chamber thing. And so essentially, it crash lands on Earth, and it crash lands in a swamp. And so the protoplasm touches both the ship, which is obviously a very high technology, and then it also touches a frog. And so that's what creates Cyberfrog. And so that's like, it's actually pretty original origin for it's hard to make original origin stories for comic book characters these days, and he did it. Some things that stand out to me about this comic book is, first of all, the dialogue is actually pretty darn good for an illustrator-written comic book. Usually they're not good at all, and I'm thinking of people like... And look, Todd McFarlane is one of the greatest... like, his art and his Spider-Man is, to me, the definitive Spider-Man. When I think of Spider-Man, I think of Todd McFarlane's art. But I don't think of his writing. So, it's not good. It's kind of cringy. Are you there, Stevie? Your screen is all black. Okay, well, anyway. The story is pretty straightforward. It's primarily an introduction to the world of Cyberfrog. Like I said, it's kind of like a soft reboot. And so essentially what it is that the Vizpiz come to Earth, and they're like they're an alien hornet species, and what they do is they use human bodily fluids, particularly blood, to make their what they call Bloodhoney. And they use that Bloodhoney to make their larvae and reproduce, obviously. And so essentially they just arrive at a planet and they completely take it over. Man, oh man, it's no good. It's not adding him. Anyway, At the end, they give a little bit of some couple of short stories. One that involves Heather Swain, which is the female, like best friend of Cyberfrog. Essentially, she like works at a fried chicken joint and brings him fried chicken because his favorite food is fried chicken. But Heather Swain, so she doesn't instantly die like the vast majority of humans in the beginning of, well, when the Vispas arrive during Bloodhoney. She actually escapes, and then she escapes into the woods where the Vispas are not very dangerous because they can't really fly through the trees. And she meets some other survivors, and so they explain kind of how she survives, because at the end of this book, Cyberfrog himself is pretty mortally wounded, and he goes into like essentially a hibernation to heal. So, yeah, it's nice to have those stories at the end because they kind of help you understand what's going on. There you are. You're really quiet.
I figured it out. Wait, can you hear me?
Yeah, but you're really quiet. Can't
What
turn you
about
up. Keep going. This is not an ASMR stream.
What about now?
There, that's good. That's good.
Okay.
Okay.
I wasn't using the Streamlabs thing. Now I am.
This like their operating their OBS or whatever.
Yeah, I think it was crashing because I was in Safari or Chrome.
Ah, gotcha. Well, good. Hopefully this works this time. So yeah, what was I saying? So yeah, the short stories at the end are very, very nice because they kind of flesh out the story. I know there are other short stories that he made and is selling between this and Wrecked Planet. I can't get all those, but I will eventually. But then also the cool thing is, come here. It came in this box. Did I show you this, Steven?
No.
Oh, this is the Bloodhoney box, and essentially it opens up like this.
Kind of reminds me of like Goosebumps, like the slime on it.
Yeah, and it has this giant picture of Cyberfrog. I keep the like magnets and stickers and cards that I get from these people in there. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the story. I don't want to go over it too much because I don't want to kind of spoil it. But then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share my stream so that people can see these pictures here. So yeah, this is the, let's go full screen here. This is the silver foil edition, the back of it there. And you can see kind of like the embossedness of it on that picture. This is one of the pictures of when he's literally being born. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
Oh my
There's the moment
gosh.
that it went infinite.
It's like his art is unbelievable. Can I zoom in on this? I sure can. Look at this shit. Oh my god. So yeah, I've got more pictures that like I really, really loved. This is one where he first realizes that he can kind of transform and become Ulto Frog.
That's crazy.
Hey, turn your stuff up a little bit more, please, Steven.
How about now?
That's good. This is one of my favorite like panels in the entire comic, because it's like you see Salamandroid, who is Cyberfrog's brother. He mixes with what's her name? Because Trick Ron is Cyberfrog. I forgot what her name is, but anyway, they're
Progress.
yeah, their robot mother. He mixes with her and a salamander, so he becomes Salamandroid, and he's just ginormous. And when you first see him, you think he's gonna attack her, but then he comes up and he goes, "Are you my mother?" And and she's like,
Sweet.
I know, and she explains stuff to him, but it really is such a sweet thing because she like explains all this stuff to him. You know, you're going to defend the world. You're going to help Cyberfrog against this alien species. And she explains all this to him, and then the next page is him just going, "Do you love me?" And she's like, "Yes, I love you." And he's like, "I love you too." And it's so cute because he's this giant beast. This is the Vizpiz. They're like ships that they use to arrive on Earth, and it's like, come on, look, like,
Super cool looking
oh,
stuff.
you don't see this in modern comics anymore. This is the stuff that's the money. And then obviously that's the one. This is the picture from the inside of the Bloodhoney box. Look at that.
And when did this come out?
2019, I want to say. I think it's been like 3 years that the Wrecked Planet campaign's been going on. So 2019, I want to say. 2018 or 2019.
2019 was 4 years ago.
I know. Oh, all the way. Well, I mean, we're at the very beginning of 2023.
Yeah.
One weird thing I would say is that Ethan Van Sciver, when he's talking about his comics, he's like, I want them to be for kids too, so there's no nudity or language. And then he's got a hornet, like, look, this is horrible. This is my nightmare.
Well, you have regular nightmares about a robot hornet trying to make out with you.
Oh, they're not robot. They're like regular hornets. Giant.
That's even worse.
Yes. And oh my gosh, his proboscis. Look at that. That can't be. That's got to be censored. But it's even worse from there. He turns her insides to blood honey. It's gross. Anyway.
You don't like blood honey?
It tastes so good. You know what? Blood honey reminds me of that. Have you ever seen that? Joe Rogan was talking about it. That what do they call it? Mad honey. Do you trip out on?
I saw that clip.
Yeah. Oh,
That's.
that's.
Like, you should take more.
Yeah, right.
Maybe.
This is after he wakes up from being in his reformative state for a while, and the color palette's a lot more subdued. I would say it's a lot more brownish and yellowish, which kind of implies the world has ended and all that. But it was just a cool picture I wanted to. And then there's a point at which they explain why the Vizpiz came to Earth. And essentially, it's that the species can't arrive on a planet and use it unless the people of that planet broadcast a certain frequency or signal to them, which is like the "Hey, come over here" signal. So they like did an interpretive dance with music that like created the signal, and essentially this interpretive dance, this new age like party, brought the Vizpiz to Earth and destroyed it entirely. And I thought it was really funny because Van Sciver uses the word soy a lot to describe people, and the word you can see here is soy coming from Earth, the energy field. Oh my gosh, it's so funny. Just some more cool pictures. These are some of the characters from the Cyberfrog 90s. So that's Shockroach right there, which is a great name. He always has these great names, like Shockroach, and the guy you can't see here, the picture's cut off, but his name is Traumadeus, and he like plays music that hurts people. That's pretty
nice.
Crazy.
I mean, that's not nice that he does that.
Well, yeah, but it's a cool idea. And then we have Heather Swain. This is from that short story at the end explaining like what happened to her. This is the guy who ends up being her husband. So yeah, she survives there. And then, I mean, just look at that. Ugh. Like the buildings too. I'm looking at the building in the background. It's crazy.
Oh, look at the detail.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the last picture I have from that. So we can get back to this here. So yeah. So when we talk about Cyberfrog Bloodhoney, if it's, rag or mag, I think it goes mag for sure. And I'm excited to review the rest of the Comicsgate comics. I've got Inglorious Rex back here. I know ISOM isn't technically Comicsgate, but it is in spirit. It's the Bronze Age, baby. So
the goal is to be magged, not ragged.
Correct. That's correct. If you're a rag, it's no good. You gotta, you know what? And it's gonna be, Steven, at one point I'm gonna have, when it's a rag, and there's going to be some, I'm going to have to go to the comic book store and buy these awful, awful modern trash. And I'm going to read it, and I'm going to review it, and then when it's a rag, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the staples out and then use the paper as paper for my birds to shit on. So I feel like I might as well get my money's worth,
Hey, they'll start to really be fully literate too.
Yeah, you never know. Or maybe they'll like look down, read it, and then become super woke. And
They like pick this one. They pick one of them up and they're like, "Give it another chance."
yeah, right. All right, that is that segment. So let's go on to the next segment, which is probably the longest segment in the whole thing, and that's the Who's Who on the Jeffrey Epstein list. So on this segment, we're going to go over all the names that have been released on the Jeffrey Epstein list that's currently in possession of the FBI. All right, on to our next segment. Our next segment is going to be, what is it here? Tales from Magonia.
That's gonna be a joke.
That is.
No, that was a good setup. That was a
Thank
good
you.
setup delivery.
The next segment is Tales from Magonia. So some of you might know about this book called Passport to Magonia. I think do you have it currently, Stephen? I keep pointing to this screen, which is over to my left, but I should be looking at you this way. There it is. Perfect. Yes. Passport to Magonia. And essentially the thesis of this book is that all the phenomena throughout history, the spiritual, the alien phenomena, the ghost phenomena, the parent, all the stuff is related in some way, or rather is not different from one another. Because when you compare the stimuli of each and the things that people experience in each, you begin to find that the stimuli are actually pretty much the same thing. So it's a fantastic book. If you have the chance to read it, I would highly recommend it. It might change your life. But so what I'm going to do is what we're doing is it's called Tales from Magonia. We essentially go over any kind of paranormal or strange story. And I figured today we might as well start with one of the probably the most famous paranormal story, and that would be where is it? There we go. Roswell, New Mexico, 1947. So, for this again,
Allows us to return. Oh wait, sorry, I was reading.
No. Go ahead. Read open it up and read something real quick.
We've already noted several instances connecting unknown beings with the theft of agriculture products. Lavender plants, grapes, or potatoes seem to have been taken away with equal dexterity by the mysterious little men.
Yes. So, all right. So let's do this. We're gonna do Roswell, New Mexico. So I'm gonna bring up my thingy again, the screen cap, and we're gonna go to the internet here. So let's observe for a minute here what Wikipedia says about the Roswell incident. Wikipedia says, the Roswell incident centers on the recovery in 1947 of mundane metallic and rubber debris from a military balloon that crashed near Roswell, New Mexico. Decades later, conspiracy theories began claiming that the debris was from a flying saucer and that the truth had been covered up by the United States government. So, first of all, it's really nice to see that on Wikipedia they're not biased in any way. I love that. That's really great. They eventually blamed this story, essentially the weather balloon, on this thing called Project Mogul. And let's read what Project Mogul's about. It's sometimes referred to as Operation Mogul, was a top-secret project by the U.S. Army Air Forces involving microphones flown on high-altitude balloons whose primary purpose was long-distance detection of sound waves generated by Soviet atomic bomb tests. The project was carried out from 1987 until early 1949. It was a classified portion of an unclassified project by a New York University atmospheric researchers. So that's what they say it is. Interestingly enough, when I read this right here, where they essentially tell you right away that it's mundane metallic and rubber debris, what I start thinking about is Project Blue Book. And for those of you who don't know, Project Blue Book was the Air Force's response to the overwhelming wealth of UAP, as they like to call them that nowadays, reports. And essentially, I might as well just read this here, because this is.
Can I detour you for a second?
Yeah.
Which do you prefer?
What do you mean?
UFO or UAP?
UFO.
Okay.
I
don't think I've ever asked that.
Yeah, because UAP is Well,
Vague.
I like the word phenomenon in it because it does, even though I don't like vagueness most of the time, it does make it opens the borders up so that you can conceive of two things that you would never conceive of being phenomenon together at the same time. And then that might help you think of them as the same thing.
That's what you're saying.
But the reason I don't like it is because they were like, oh, UFO has been stigmatized, so we're just going to change the acronym. It's like, then just unstigmatize UFO. You're the ones doing it. Just stop it.
It's a what's it called? It's an attempt to make a word weaker or something.
A euphemism.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I'm struggling with words today.
No, you're fine. So, the Robertson panel. In July 1952, after a buildup of hundreds of sightings over the previous few months, a series of radar... And to be clear, like, these sightings, these saucers and things, people, like, knew these were real back then. They saw them, and they just... That was that. And this is not even to mention the whole late 1800s, the airship phenomenon. There was an airship, or a few, rather, that passed across the United States when no such technology even existed back at the time. But anyway, I get off track here. A series of radar detections coincident with visual sightings were observed near the National Airport in Washington, D.C. After much publicity, these sightings led the Central Intelligence Agency to establish a panel of scientists headed by Dr. H.P. Robertson, a physicist of the California Institute of Technology, who included various physicists, meteorologists, and engineers, and one astronomer, J. Allen Hynek. The Robertson panel first met on January 14, 1953, in order to formulate a response to the overwhelming public interest in UFOs. Ruppelt, Hynek, and others presented the best evidence, including movie footage that had been collected by Blue Book. After spending 12 hours reviewing 6 years of data, 12 hours reviewing 6 years of data, the Robertson panel concluded that most UFO reports had prosaic explanations, and that all could be explained with further investigation, which they deemed not worth the effort. In their final report, they stressed that low-grade, unverifiable UFO reports were overloading intelligence channels with the risk of missing a genuine conventional threat to the U.S. Therefore, they recommended the Air Force de-emphasize the subject of UFOs and embark on a debunking campaign to lessen public interest. They suggested debunkery through the mass media, including Walt Disney Productions, and using psychologists, astronomers, and celebrities to ridicule the phenomenon and put forward prosaic explanations. And then it says, furthermore, civilian UFO groups should be watched because of their potentially great influence on mass thinking. The apparent irresponsibility and the possible use of such groups for subversive purposes should be kept in mind. They obviously took care of that pretty darn well, because MUFON now is very little more than a place for people to just gather together and tell their stories and be heard about their stories, but to accomplish nothing of value, even in the face of 80 years worth of government lies on the subject. Wait, do I have another piece there?
Yeah, something that's interesting that I've been thinking about.
What's that?
It's just like you ask if you'd ask the general public a poll on whether they just by gut reaction believe or not.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you get a majority.
I 100% agree. And it's interesting, too, because you think one of the things people say is, well, if the government is hiding it, it's good because people would freak out and the world would end if people knew about that. And I feel like people, either they wouldn't care at all, or, which is kind of sad, but it's true, or they would be kind of happy. But I don't think they would. That wouldn't make the world end.
Yeah.
It
would make it different.
Yeah,
But
it would just.
it's not bad.
Yeah, there's so many things that have happened that were world ending that we just adapted to and got over. Here's
Tom Brady retiring from football.
Right. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Here's some pictures here. These are the fellas who.
Sparkling?
What's that?
Your stream background.
Oh yeah, it's like moving.
How did you do that?
It's stock
Is
footage.
that a live stream of the stars?
Yeah, that's what it is. I have a spaceship that I sent up, and going through there. It's pretty awesome. You know what's interesting though? I just I was reading this too on Wikipedia. I didn't know this, but the English word disinformation is a translation of a Russian word dezinformatsiya, which is like, so then you have things like you have misinformation, disinformation, and what is the third one? Malinformation. Get this, they say malinformation is factual information disseminated with the intention to cause harm. Which is like, how could, I don't understand how factual information could cause harm. Except, unless you're saying like, I shared the nuclear codes with the commies.
Well, all right. Like, have you ever been in a situation where it's like everybody knows that this person is not funny, and you're like in a frustrated moment with them, and you're like, "Look, dude, you're not funny." It breaks their soul, and they're never the same person anymore.
Oh, I get, yeah, that makes sense now. That really is malinformation, because then they feel they're afflicted by a malady of the soul.
But you know what? Maybe that person, after hearing that, can rebuild and become a truly funny person.
That's the hope. That is always the hope. And if they can put their pride aside, usually that's the case too. Are you like hinting at something?
No.
So this is a picture of
I see what you're saying.
the dudes. Okay, so these fellas, they made their reports. The information's not in front of me. We all know what it is.
It's two guys that look like they're trying to build a campfire.
No. So these soldiers, okay, so the original report, essentially in the Roswell Daily Record, which was the newspaper at the time. I don't know if it still is. But the original report was that a flying saucer had been essentially acquired by the Air Force. And that happened, they reported that the day of, or rather the next day. And then the next day they were like, nah, they were mistaken. It wasn't a flying saucer. It was a bunch of tinfoil from a weather balloon. So yeah, this guy essentially debased himself and got on camera and was like, he told everybody that it wasn't a flying saucer, but that it was just this tinfoil. So, you know, our choices are this. Either the Air Force and I guess the Army at the time are woefully incompetent.
Change his story, you're saying?
They all changed their story. The Army was like, yeah, we got one, folks. Because the people had seen saucers since this fella, Kenneth Arnold, essentially he saw them over a mountain, and he called them flying saucers. I think he got a few pictures too. And then there was this rash of flying saucers. Pretty much right after, during World War II, there was a lot of what they call the Foo Fighters, which is where the band gets their name. Fiery, glowy orbs. And that changed to flying saucers after the war.
That's where they get their name?
Yeah.
That's a cool name.
Yeah, it's really cool. And it's funny because the Germans and the Allies were like, oh shit, whose are those? Like, that's some amazing technology. But they both thought it was the other side's.
That feels like a little bit creepy, but I'd be interested to know about.
Oh yeah.
Is how the ancestors of these people are doing right now.
The ancestors of which people? Oh, these people on the screen here?
Mm-hmm.
They probably like, with this subject, people usually like to just get away from it and like divorce their life from it because they don't like.
Yeah, I just didn't know if there'd be money involved.
Oh, I'm sure. And there are all those people. There's a million different ufologists who are all just making money and rehashing the same shit. But yeah.
I just meant money to cover it up.
What's that?
I meant money to cover it up, to change their story.
Oh, I think it's more like, you'll get court-martialed.
Okay, like you change your story, you're going to jail.
Yeah, it's like if you tell people this information, you're done.
And that dead
like,
body was done by you.
Exactly. So yeah, that's I guess so that's our segment for Tales from Magonia. And I guess the lesson you learn from this is to always trust the military and the intelligence communities because they're never wrong. All right. So let's see. What's our next? Do we have another? Oh, we got a quote. I like this quote. This is a nice quote. This is the quote of the week. Whoops. Turn that off.
Did I say it?
No. But it's from that book I lent you at one point. Behold a Pale Horse.
Oh.
This is in the beginning of that book, and it hit me.
Behold a pale horse?
No, it's I believe that any man without principles that he is ready and willing to die for at any given moment is already dead and is of no use or consequence whatsoever. By William Cooper.
I agree with that statement.
It's a bold statement, but I think it's pretty cuts close to the core there.
You gotta have at least a few, you know?
Oh yeah. And if you don't, like what's the point of what are you doing? You know, why do you bother living life? I don't know.
You've probably already have sold your principles to somebody else.
Exactly. So yeah, those are all the segments I had for today.
Good segments.
Yeah, but we can talk about whatever. We can do whatever.
You sure spent a lot of time on the Jeffrey Epstein stuff.
I did, you know, and it's really it's a big chunk. I was worried whether or not you would, because that's a real sensitive subject. And
I was mostly just being like, holy shit, like, what's on this list?
yeah, right. He's got some info.
Do I not know about this?
Oh, and that's the sad part of it all. But yeah. So what have you been doing all day, Steven?
Man, chilling. I had a little bit of a headache, but now I'm feeling better.
Good. You recorded some tunes recently?
Always.
When were you streaming last?
I think I streamed a little bit this week. I'm trying to do them on Monday or Tuesdays, I think.
Gotcha.
I think I still like the YouTube stream. It's nice. It's nice
Yeah.
It's just up there, and your videos are up there.
Oh yeah. And I like how you can download it and then cut it up.
How's Streamlabs been working for you?
Dude, Streamlabs is really, really nice. It's very how would I put it? Easy to use, very convenient. It's what's the word? User friendly in the sense that things make sense where they are and how you would then edit them to make them do something else.
Yeah, I mean, like, once I figured out how to get the chat going, like this video chat, it's really nice on my end.
So is it on the side there?
I'll probably just I'll send you a screenshot of what it looks like.
Okay.
But I can edit your face size and stuff. I could easily go live right now. I'm not live, but I could. I think. And that's nice. So we could stream a game sometime together.
That is very true. I'm trying to get Kev and John to get Skyrim together, and then we could play that.
For the PC?
Yeah.
I gotta see if I can get it for the Mac.
You might. I mean, how is your computer new enough? How new is your computer?
Like last year.
Oh, well then, yeah, you'll be fine.
Sometimes they just don't make stuff for Mac OS.
I wonder if it would be different. Like if we'd all have to have the same. I doubt it. I have to look into Skyrim together.
For refrigerators before.
You're not joking though. Like I'm pretty sure you're telling the truth, aren't you?
I'm telling you the truth. Yeah.
They do have a Skyrim on the fridge game.
I don't know if it's like every fridge, obviously.
It's ridiculous. But here, I gotta use the restroom real quick. And I will be right back. So, let me see here. I don't want to leave you all alone.
I'm sure you could put a video on or something.
Yeah. Here's what I'll do. I'm going to bring up one of my old Clicks with Q videos.
One of the pinups?
Yeah.
I'll be right back too.
Yeah. Let's see. Which one am I going to put on here? We might as well do D-Doom and all the Good evening and welcome back to what's it called? Whoops, that's not what I want to press. Come on. Okay, so here I'm going to share my screen. Bing, bing, bing. You guys can see this. Clicks with Q. On tonight's program is part 2
right
of
back.
the Dr. Doom videos. This one has pretty much all the best ones. All right, welcome back. Let's get rolling. Let's get right into it. We got Doom 29, Doom 2099 Revolutionary. So he's another one of them, those title characters. Obviously, he doesn't have any special powers. Title characters don't have special powers. Looking at his dial here, man, that looks really washed out. But he's got, jeez. What happened with the coloring? What am I doing? I'm a fool. Well, it looks like it's like brown. I can just do this.
Invulnerability.
I'm such a fool. Observe. This will be easier. All right, we're back. We are back. Yeah, thanks for everybody who's been watching so far. No one? No, Steven's been watching. That's fair. So yeah. So eventually we'll be doing, versions of Rag or Mag for all these Comicsgate comic books like I've got back here. Check this out. Signed Isom cover B.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's beautiful.
It's going to be worth a lot of money one day. A lot of money.
Like $50.
You wish. And then also Inglorious Rex, which is also signed by Shane Davis.
There's a moment in Community where, like, the police officer's coming in and he's like, "You guys shouldn't have left this brick sitting there. It's an antique. You'll probably get like $60 for it." And then Troy grabs it and goes, "Hello, rich people. This is choice."
Yeah, I remember that. My favorite line from him is the one where she's like, "You can't drive that thing in here." And he's like, "Yes, I can. It's all terrain, dummy." Oh. I should have my mug, my Troy and Abin in the morning mug right here. In the morning.
In the morning.
It's so
And then
good.
When Pierce dies, they go, "Troy and Abed are in morning." And then Troy's like, "Wait, morning like with a U."
Oh shit! I moved my camera on accident. So yeah.
Quality's good.
Huh?
You've got a nice quality camera.
It is pretty good. It's my mom actually was the one who suggested it to me.
Nice.
I keep looking
your
over at
same-
the screen to talk to
Same
you.
mic too?
What's that?
Is that your same mic too?
Yeah, this is my Newman.
Nice. Is it a new stand?
Yeah. It's so nice.
Is it outstanding?
It You know, sometimes I feel like you're a stand-up guy, and sometimes I just can't stand you.
Oh, that was good. That was good. Well played.
Dude, yeah, I'm just like all this whole setup is it looks pretty good in the camera now. I didn't think it would capture so much of it, but it does. It even gets that Doctor Doom in the background there.
The only thing that's needed is a bird stream.
I do need a bird stream, but I put them to bed already because I didn't want to. They're so loud, and Petunia, she likes anything that looks weird, so she'd probably like start pecking at this thing and trying to tear it apart. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How long have you had Petunia now?
I would say maybe a year and a half. Let's see. Do I have a picture of her I can put up?
Boot-tweet.
Let's see.
That's the Petunia sound. Boot-tweet.
Yeah. It should be under old computer and would be under pictures. Yes. Okay. Oh my gosh, I have so many pictures. So here, I'll share my screen again, and we can see those.
If I react in delayed reactions because I'm watching it on the live stream.
Oh no, that's fine. All right, so here's Petunia, when she just took a bath, so she's all wet. Look at her. Looks so funny. She's still all wet. What a cutie patootie. That's not Petunia. These are action figures. Those are my only pictures of Petunia. Oh no, there's more. Okay. There we go. Look at her. Oh.
Precious. Oh, there's the bath picture. Oh, there she's on the windowsill.
Oh, there's a little poop there. Look at that. That's a good picture. I like that picture a lot. Other pictures I tried to take that were close. Yeah, she likes that windowsill. She was just sitting there. And look at her little dinosaur claws. Aww. That's a good picture too. You can really see the detail on her feathers. Wowee. You know, that camera cannot take video to save its life. Oh, Steven's gone. Damn. That video cannot, or that camera cannot do video to save its life, but it is very nice on the detail side of things. Look at that for the pictures. Wow. The lighting's not good, but wowee. So let's go to the next picture, shall we? Oh, there's more hero clicks. So yeah. This has been a good stream. We're at 50 minutes in. Oh, he's still here, he says. Oh, I see. Okay. So yeah, I don't know. I think we might call it at this point. I'm trying to think of more things we could talk about, or I guess we could talk about that Chinese balloon, that commie balloon that flew over our country and just kind of got away with it scot-free. Talk about a flex. Jeez. How funny would it be, though, if, like, in 70 years after the apocalypse has occurred because we got into a nuclear war with China, because they saw how weak and ineffectual we were in the face of a blatant violation of our airspace. Imagine how funny it will be 70 years from then, when you're picking out the cockroach legs between your teeth and you're telling your grandchildren who have 7 fingers due to fallout, well, it all started with that damn balloon. And then balloons will become like a horrible icon, like an icon for ominous doom, approaching doom. So and then wars in this post-apocalyptic future, what they'll do is, in order to declare war on a warring faction, they'll send them like a balloon. And balloons will go from becoming things that you have at parties and all the fun celebratory events. They'll go to becoming essentially throwing the gauntlet down. Let's see. I think it wouldn't let him join again, Steven. So let me resend the thing to him. I'm sure he can hear me right now. Gmail. Compose. Paste send. All right, we'll see if that works. We'll see if he can get that stream link. Yeah, he wants to talk about the China balloon. We all want to talk about the China balloon. I sent that link to you, Stevie. So yeah, the Chinese balloon. It's kind of funny to me because, like, I don't know. Maybe I'm horribly wrong on this, but spy balloons seem like 60s, 70s technology, which wouldn't surprise me with how shitty communists are at everything they do anyway. But either that or it is the biggest flex in the world. You know, they're just like, the Americans, we're going to send a balloon over there and they won't even shoot that down. Oh my gosh. That's a horrible Chinese accent. My Russian accent is much better than Chinese accent. You want me to do Russian communist? It's easy. It's not hard. But Chinese accent becomes, how would I put it? Cartoonish after a short time. So, this is the Russian accent. Russian accent much easier. I don't know why it's not letting Steven back in. Notifications. Pop. Well, anyway. So we talked about the China balloon. Did we really, though? I could say very mean things. You know what? I want to show you guys something in regards to the China balloon. And it'll explain a lot of things. It really will. I think that that you guys have to see this, because what it does is it simply just takes your expectations of how our government should react, and it puts them in perspective. Let's watch this for a second, shall we?
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to excuse me.
So, yeah, there's that. Well, yeah, I think
that's why I and so damn many other people I grew up have cancer.
Oh no!
And why can't for the longest time?
He's gone on.
Delaware had the highest cancer rate in the nation.
What? He just said he's got cancer. Oh man. That's probably just a gaffe. It's probably, totally innocent, I would say. He doesn't have cancer. I imagine that he only said that because he has dementia and he doesn't know what he's saying. So no, he's fine. Totally fine. Does not have cancer. No issue that is afflicting him that would prevent him from acting in a reasonable manner ever. Thank you. All right. I think that's it for tonight, folks. This has been a good reboot stream. We're serious now. The other stream, I wasn't serious. I was just playing around, I was just it says the server keeps, that's weird. Well, we'll try it again next time, Steven. I'm sorry you got rejected by the server. I would never reject you. It seems like the server's got it out for you. I don't know what you said to him, but you might as well give that server a tip. Anyway, bad puns. Thank you, Steven Nelson, for coming on. Goodbye. I'm sorry I couldn't say goodbye to you. Thank you so much for coming on. This is a great time. I've got another guest next week. I'll confirm later, sometime in the week, and we'll do this again next week on Saturday night. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks again for joining me here on Cast with Q, and I hope you have a wonderful night. Good night.